Hi and a very good evening to the news on Sansad Television. I'm Rashika Gangwani. We get you details of the day's top stories from India and across the world. Let's begin with the headlines. Rain and floods leave trail of destruction in many states of North India. 6 killed in landslides in Himachal Pradesh. Over 13 feared missing. Many rivers in a spate in the state. CBI summons some of the accused in Delhi excise policy scam case. Aam Aadmi Party and BJP face off over the issue. Congress holds protest demanding Manish Sisodia's resignation. Defence Minister addresses seminar on Armed Forces Tribunal. Called tribunals to provide timely justice. Warns against damage caused by hasty decisions. 2 civilians wounded by Russian shelling near the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. America to provide Scan Eagle drones and anti-landmine vehicles to Ukraine. Team India take 2-0 lead in 3-match ODI series against Zimbabwe. India wins second ODI in Harare by 5 wickets. Let us now take a quick look at some other important news. Over 1 lakh villages declared open defecation free plus for systems to manage solid and liquid waste, says government. India better placed on growth, inflation, external balance for 2022-23 due to government in response, says the Finance Ministry. Prime Minister Modi pays tributes to former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi on 78th birth anniversary. Outstanding dues of states and union territories drop 80% a day after electricity grid operator bars defaulter distribution companies from short-term buys and sales. RBI reports say sustainable profits with proportionate risks need to be encouraged to avoid risk of bank failure in long run. Indian Air Force contingent takes part in EXCISE Pitch Black 2022 in Australia, being held from August 19 to 8th of September in Darwin. BIMSTEC Secretary General Tenzin Lekfeld to visit India from 22nd to 25th August. India has stressed moving BIMSTEC cooperation to next level. Taiwan tracks 21 warplanes and 5 naval ships from China. 8 jets had crossed the Taiwan Strait median line. Security officials say 12 people killed after AL-SHABAAB militants storm hotel in Somali capital, Mogadishu. 2 pilots of Ethiopian Airlines fall asleep at 37,000 feet, miss airport runway at Addis Ababa before waking to safety land the plane. Now news in detail. The CBI has issued summons to some of the accused in the corruption case related to the implementation of the Delhi excise policy. The agency is examining the documents seized during Friday raids at 31 places. These places included the residence of Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, some bureaucrats and businessmen. The CBI said that the summons will be issued to other accused after the examination of documents, gadgets and bank transactions. BJP has challenged the Aam Aadmi Party to come clean on the excise policy. INB Minister Anurag Thakur said the corruption in excise policy has revealed the true face of Arvind Kejriwal and Manish Sisodia. The Delhi Congress leaders and workers also staged a protest outside the Aam Aadmi Party office in Delhi. They demanded the resignation of Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia.
विषय से भटकने और भटकाने का प्रयास कोई ना करे। शराब के घोटाले की बात हो रही है। शराब के घोटाले पर जवाब चाहिए। आरोपी नंबर 1 शराब घोटाले का मनीष सिसोदिया जी और किंग पिन अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को जवाब देना ही होगा।
सीबीआई के ऑफिसर्स आए तो वो एफआईआर लेके आए थे। उसमें ना 8,000 करोड़ का जिक्र था, ना 1100 करोड़ का जिक्र था। उसमें लिखा था सोर्सेज कह रहे हैं कि 1 करोड़ का घोटाला हुआ है। सोर्सेज कह रहे हैं कि 1 करोड़ का घोटाला हुआ है। ये सीबीआई की एफआईआर कह रही है।
एक डिमांड करनी चाहिए कि जो मुद्दे लेके एमएलसी के पास जाए उन पर स्वायत्त रूप से अलग से कमीशन बनाकर इंक्वायरी हो और जब इंक्वायरी में तथ्य निकलेगा आप देखिएगा एक भी नेता इस पार्टी का बाहर नहीं बचेगा।
Now let's trace the monsoon situation in the nation. Rains continue to create havoc in Himachal Pradesh. At least 16 people were killed and 8 others went missing in incidents of landslide, flash flood and cloud burst in the state in the past 24 hours. In Mandi, a girl was killed in a landslide and flash floods. Several roads in Mandi district have been blocked following flash flood and multiple landslides. Floodwaters inundated the houses and shops in Bal, Sadar, Thunak, Mandi and Lamatach. The maximum damage has been reported from Mandi, Kangra and Chamba districts. So far, 34 weather-related incidents have been reported from the state. 8 members of another family are also feared buried under the debris of their house following a landslide at Kashan village in Gohar. In Chamba district, 3 people were killed after their house collapsed due to a landslide. Many roads have been damaged due to heavy rains and landslides in the state. 4 national highways have also been blocked. Trains on Joginder Nagar Pathankot route have been suspended after the Chakki bridge in Kangra district collapsed due to heavy rains. The railway authorities had declared the bridge unsafe. The Yatra to the Mata Vaishno Devi shrine atop Trikuta Hills in Jammu and Kashmir's Riyasi district resumed on Saturday morning. The Yatra was temporarily suspended overnight due to heavy rains. Over 1,500 devotees were allowed to resume the journey on the old track around 6:30 a.m. from Darshana Dudi in Katra, which is the base camp for the Yatra. The Himkoti track, also known as the new track, is still closed due to ongoing clearance operation. The helicopter services also remain suspended due to bad weather. Disaster management teams and medical units have been kept on alert. Uttarakhand was hit by multiple incidents of cloudburst on Saturday. 4 people were killed and 10 went missing in the state as rivers breached their banks and washed away bridges. Water entered the caves of Tapeshkawar, a famous Shiv Mandir on the banks of Tons River, which is in Spate. A bridge over the Song River near Thanu also got washed away. Water levels also rose dangerously at Kempty Falls, a popular tourist spot near Mussoorie. Mud entered homes in over a dozen villages following the cloudburst. State Disaster Management Force have shifted the affected people to safe locations. The Rishikesh-Badrinath highway is blocked at Tota Ghati. The Rishikesh-Gangotri highway is blocked at Nagni, and Narendra Nagar Rani Pokhri road is blocked at several points. Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami visited the affected areas near Thano and instructed officials to make arrangements for restoring vehicular movement.
अतिवृष्टि के कारण से काफ़ी जगह पर मलबा आ गया है, काफ़ी जगह पर जो संपर्क मार्ग कट गए हैं। एक हमारा थानो जो मार्ग है, इस मार्ग का पुल भी जो है एक कोना उसका बह गया है। तो हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि जल्दी से जल्दी जो बचाव के काम है वो सबसे जल्दी हों।
Threat of flash floods is looming large in many parts of Odisha as heavy rains continue to pound the state. The IMD said that deep depression that triggered heavy rainfall will remain active for the next 24 hours before weakening gradually. The state is already reeling under flood in the Mahanandi river system with around 4 lakh people marooned in 500 villages. Water levels in the Sumarekha, Budabalang, Bethrani and Salandi are under scanner as Balasore, Kyojhar and Mayurbhanj received heavy rains. Moving on, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said Armed Forces Tribunal will help in timely delivery of justice. Addressing the national seminar on introspection, Armed Forces Tribunal in New Delhi, Rajnath Singh also cautioned against the challenge of justice hurried is justice buried. The Defence Minister also complimented efforts by the Armed Forces Tribunal to improve their overall functioning. Law Minister Kiran Rijiju was also present on the occasion.
आप सभी ने जब इंट्रोस्पेक्शन विषय पर आज का सेमिनार रखा तो मैं कह सकता हूं कि आप सब ने भी एक संकल्प लिया है कि भविष्य में आप अपने स्तर पर आर्म्ड फोर्सेस ट्रिब्यूनल को और अधिक इफेक्टिव और रेस्पॉन्सिव बनाएंगे। यह आपने संकल्प लिया है, शायद इसीलिए इंट्रोस्पेक्शन ऑफ द आर्म्ड फोर्सेस ट्रिब्यूनल पर सेमिनार यहां रखा है।
An Indian parliamentary delegation is participating in the 65th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference in Canada. The conference will continue till August 26th. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla is leading the Indian parliamentary delegation to the conference in Halifax. 8 workshops on various topics will be organized during the conference. Speaker Om Birla will participate as a panelist in the workshop on People's Parliament, Accessibility through Innovation. The conference will also be attended by 23 presiding officers and 16 secretaries from state legislatures from India. Now let's take a look at some stories that are making news across the nation. Home Minister Amit Shah visited the JPNA Trauma Center of AIMS in Delhi to inquire about the health of 3 injured ITBP personnel. They were brought to Delhi from Srinagar by special air ambulance yesterday. Chief Justice of India N.V. Ramana inaugurated the new Modern City Court Complex in Vijayawada, built at a cost of ₹100 crore. The sale of Series 2 of Sovereign Gold Bonds 2022-23 will begin on Monday and will continue till Friday. The value of the gold bond during this period will be ₹5,197 per gram. Police raided several places in Poonch, Jammu and Kashmir in connection with the financing of terrorism. The police were tipped off after the arrest of 2 gang members. 153 people were injured during the Dahi Handi celebrations on the occasion of Krishna Janmashtami in Mumbai. 64 people were reported injured in Thane city. 2 devotees were killed and 7 others injured in a stampede at the Bake Bihari temple in Uttar Pradesh's Vrindavan during the Mangala Aarti late on Friday night. Kerala Governor Arif Muhammad Khan said he would order a comprehensive inquiry into allegations of nepotism in appointments to various posts in state universities. 13,272 patients have been found infected with the COVID-19 virus in the last 24 hours. The number of patients under treatment has come down to 1,01,166. Time for a short break here. On the other side, after 12 years of hardship, Greece will no longer be under European Commission scrutiny of its economy. Stay tuned.
Now we have complete intellectual property of how to make this completely in India. We don't need anybody's help to do it.
We will show you the most crucial element of any artillery gun systems and even tank gun systems.
Welcome back to the news. Now time for big developments from the Russia-Ukraine war front. Russia has no moral right to sit at the group of 20 nations while it presses on with its invasion of Ukraine, Britain's foreign ministry has said. The statement came hours after G20 host Indonesia said Russian President Putin would attend the group's November summit in Bali. UK Prime Ministerial candidate Rishi Sunak also called on the G20 to bar Putin from its meetings until Moscow halts the war in Ukraine. Indonesia has also invited Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky to attend the Bali summit. The United States has announced new military aid for Ukraine worth $775 million. The aid includes Scan Eagle surveillance drone, mine-resistant vehicle, anti-armor rounds, and howitzer weapons to help Ukrainian forces. It brings the total U.S. military aid to Ukraine to about $10.6 billion since the beginning of the Biden administration. Russian President Vladimir Putin has agreed that independent inspectors can travel to the Russian-occupied Zaporizhia nuclear plant in Ukraine. French President Emmanuel Macron's office said that Putin had dropped his demand that the IAEA team travel to the site via Russia, saying it could arrive via Ukraine. UN Chief Antonio Guterres has urged Russian forces occupying the Zaporizhia plant not to disconnect the facility from the grid. His statement came on a day when 2 people were injured in attacks near the facility. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres arrived in Istanbul on Saturday to monitor the inspections of the Ukrainian grain shipment. Early on Friday, he boarded a grain ship in the Ukrainian port of Odessa on Friday. He stated that 25 ships have departed from Odessa and other Ukrainian ports since Russia and Ukraine signed a 4-month grain export deal in July. Now time for some other global updates. Beginning with news from other parts of the world in this quick wrap. New York City is offering on-site vaccines in an effort to increase the number of vaccination sites for monkeypox amid strong demand for the shot. The city's public health system has begun on-site vaccine clinics at community health organizations around the city. Apple released 2 security reports that disclose serious security vulnerabilities for iPhones, iPads and Macs that could allow attackers to take complete control of these devices. Apple's disclosure means that hackers could get full admin access to the device. Security experts have advised users to update affected devices right away. The impacted devices include the whole lineup, including iPhones, iPad, iPad Air and Mac computers. World Food Programme says there was a high probability that a famine may be declared for some communities in the Horn of Africa. On a visit from Kenya, WFP Chief David Beasley described the situation as a perfect storm on top of a perfect storm. The drought-prone area struggles to cope amid the high prices of food and fuel driven by the Ukraine war. The World Food Programme data says that around 22 million people are hungry in Horn of the Africa region. SpaceX launched 53 Starlink satellites to low Earth orbit via Falcon 9 rocket from Florida. This is the 3rd launch of the Starlink satellites by SpaceX this month. SpaceX is working towards establishing a massive constellation of Starlink satellites to provide internet services across the globe. China's Long March carrier rockets have achieved 103 successful launches in a row since May 5, 2020. It set a new record of longest successful launch streak in the country that was achieved in just 27 months. China attributes the improvement in the accuracy of the rocket system to the application of Baidu navigation system. The Long March rockets are based on independent innovation. Annual inflation in the Eurozone hit a record high of 8.9% in July, according to the latest figures from its statistics agency Eurostat. The rate of inflation in Eurozone countries increased from 8.6% in June, while it was 9.8% in the wider European Union compared to 9.6% in June and 2.5% a year ago.
Inflation in the Eurozone surged to a fresh record high of 8.9% year-on-year in July, according to latest data. The European Union's statistics agency said the increase in consumer prices in the 19 countries that use the euro had further increased from the previous record of 8.6% logged in June. The jump was mainly driven by increases in energy and food prices and prices in the services sector. They account for more than 2/3 of the Eurozone's economic output. Data also shows that core inflation came in at 5.1% in July, above the expectations of 5%. Many of the 19 Eurozone countries have double-digit inflation, with Spain registering 10.8%, Greece 11.6%, Poland 15.7%, the Czech Republic 17.5%, and Lithuania and Latvia both above 21.5%. Market analysts believe that energy costs in Europe will continue to soar as European Union continues to cut its use of Russian gas in the future, and inflation on the continent is expected to keep rising in the future. The Eurozone began raising interest rates in earnest in July in an aggressive 50 basis points move to curb inflation, ending years of monetary easing. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
After 12 years of hardship, Greece will not be under European Commission scrutiny of its economy. The country's economic problems started after the 2008 global financial crisis. Since 2018, it has been monitored by the European Union after Athens exited 3 international bailouts from the European Union and IMF totaling over 260 billion euros between 2010 and 15. More details to be followed.
Greece has shared another restriction dating back to its painful financial bailout years. European Union creditors have ended enhanced surveillance of the country. That means Greece will no longer face quarterly scrutiny of its public finances to receive debt relief payments. That gives the centre-right government of Prime Minister Mitsotakis greater freedom over the budget at a time when Greece, like all of Europe, is struggling with a post-pandemic cost of living and energy crisis triggered by Russia's war in Ukraine. As Moscow has cut back on natural gas to Europe, energy prices have surged, fueling inflation and threatening to plunge Europe into recession. Nevertheless, Greece, like fellow bailed-out EU members Spain, Portugal, Cyprus and Ireland, will still be monitored by its creditors while paying back its debts. In Greece's case, that will take another 2 generations, with the last loans due for repayment in 2070. The Greek crisis roiled global markets and pushed EU unity to its limits. Investors stopped lending Greece money in 2010 after Athens acknowledged misreporting key budget data. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
Al-Shabaab fighters attacked a hotel in the Somali capital Mogadishu in a hail of gunfire and explosions. At least 12 people were reported dead after gunmen stormed the hotel, following 2 car bomb blasts and gunfire. Here are the details.
Sounds of gunfire were heard on Saturday outside a Mogadishu hotel where Al-Qaeda-linked militants killed at least 12 people. Somali security forces cordoned off the road outside the Hyatt Hotel as they battled to end the siege. The attackers blasted their way into Hyatt Hotel on Friday evening with 2 car bombs before opening fire. Somalia's Al-Shabaab insurgents have claimed the responsibility. Friday's attack was the first major attack since President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed took office in May. The Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab group claimed responsibility for the attack, according to a translation by Site Intelligence Group, which monitors jihadist group statements. Al-Shabaab has been fighting to topple the Somali government for more than 10 years. It wants to establish its own rule based on a strict interpretation of Islamic law. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
Now time for some sporty action. India have won the ODI series against Zimbabwe. India won the second match of the series by 5 wickets. Batting first, Zimbabwe were all out for 161. Shardul Thakur took 3 wickets. Sanju Samson top scored with 43 not out in the India's chase. Veteran India seamster Jhulan Goswami will be retiring from international cricket after the 3rd and final ODI against England, slated to be played on September 24 at the Lord's Cricket Ground. Fondly known as Badruda, former Indian football team captain Samar Banerjee, who led the country to a historic 4th place finish in the 1956 Melbourne Olympics, died in Kolkata early morning today after a prolonged illness. He was 92. Indian Grandmaster R. Pragnananda's winning run came to an end at the hands of Liam Kwan Lee in the 5th round of the FTX Crypto Cup. He slips to the 2nd position. Cameron Norrie, Borna Choric and Stefanos Tsitsipas have reached the semi-finals of the Cincinnati Masters. Norrie caused an upset, defeating 3rd seed Carlos Alcaraz 7-6, 6-7, 6-4. That's all in today's The News. You stay tuned to Sansad Television. Good night.